Welcome to the Seer Show. Join us as we dive into the dynamic world of health, wellness, mindset, and fitness with the unparalleled guidance of lifelong knowledge seekers, Sifu Rafael and Nikki Gangemi. Sifu and Nikki will unlock groundbreaking insights with extraordinary guests from around the globe. You'll get the latest holistic approaches to well-being with a sharp focus on the powerful connection between mind, body, and soul. Get ready to take the leap. It's time to embrace a brighter and healthier future with us at the Seer Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, Nikki. How are you today?
Good morning, Sifu. I am excellent. How are you?
I am exceptional, getting better every day. Can I ask you a question?
Sure, shoot.
Is it December?
It is not December. That feels like, it feels like not that long ago, and yet it was. We're looking at like 6 months.
Yeah.
Right?
Why am I asking you that question? Because we had this amazing conversation in December, and it feels like it was yesterday. And we had a conversation with two incredibly exceptional human beings.
We did. I'm very excited for this conversation.
Oh, so we're bringing them back today. Oh, I'm excited as well. Ready? Let's go ahead and bring them on. Alethea and Leigh, how are you?
Hello. Hi,
Hello.
everybody. You guys are the
Part
cutest.
two. I love it. I love it.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
It's glad
The power of joy, right? The
I'm
power
really glad
of
to be
joy.
back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm overjoyed to have you both back. How's that sound?
Yes.
Love it. Thank you so much for having us back, you guys. This is going to be a great conversation.
It will. It will be.
It was last one. So this one, it's either going to get better or it's going to become like epic. And I like
epic
epic.
works. Yeah. I like
I
epic.
love that word, epic. Mm-hmm.
You know, me with those E words like exceptional, epic, excellent, extraordinary, and everyone.
Yes. So many good ones with ease.
Who wants to take it away? The power of joy and purpose and driven leadership.
I'll just start because what I'm really excited about is I'm hearing so many people in what I do that people are looking for their purpose. They're looking for their joy. They're looking for all this. And I know that with everybody on this show, like the four of us, I know we're going to be able to dive in that it's not out there, that we can be happy. We can be happy in the job we have right now, even if we right now, as we're driving to work, because they might be listening to us driving to work, they might hate that they're going there, but with mindset shifts, with all of the things, they can actually walk into that door after the show and be like, oh my gosh, you know what? I have a job. And start really living into that and then find what their purpose is in that. So I'm really excited for this conversation.
I'm gonna tap into that. And I
Please.
love what you talked about, because most people go, oh, I have to go to this job, instead of saying I get to go to this job because maybe I have my health. I'm going to provide for my family. This is an opportunity for me to, even if it's a 9 to 5 and you don't work on Saturday and Sunday, I get to go to this so I can have a great weekend with my family or my whatever it is.
Right.
But we need to take a look at the language we're speaking with ourselves. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
I think that joy in purpose-driven leadership is essential, because some days just will not be easy. And to have joy consistently in spite of what's going on can change your entire world. It can change how you're leading people. It changes how you lead yourself, because life continues regardless. And so having joy is necessary.
Amen.
Mhm.
Can I share with you a little bit of joy that I heard yesterday?
Please.
My sister had an operation, unexpected operation. She had 2-3 weeks to prepare for it. She went for everything. And of course, she's nervous. It's an operation. Any operation is a nervous one. And, I spoke to her the day before. I wanted to make sure what time she was going in. I said I will be praying for her during the operation. And my brother-in-law was supposed to reach out, and he didn't reach out. So I reached out and I said, how's everything? He goes, oh, everything's great. I'm with her now. I said, oh, you were going to let me know? He goes, I texted you. I'm like, where? I said, I never received it. But here's the funny thing. He walks into the room and I hear her on the phone. Tell him it feels like I had a shot of whiskey. Drugs that she's coming out of it, right?
Mhm.
And so we kind of laughed at that. So she was able to find joy in the moment, even though she was coming out of pain, if you will, because after any surgery, most everybody is in some sort of pain. But she found joy in that moment and made us all laugh. Well, the three of us, because it was my brother-in-law with her, me on the phone, and she's over there cracking up, right? So it's how we look at things. Even this is a surgery she didn't want, right? But it was kind of no choice type of surgery. So you're right. We have to look at joy in all instances of our lives.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I'm hearing an echo, and I don't know if that.
Maybe it needs to be said twice.
Maybe
I love that.
I love that, Sifu. I do, but and now I don't hear it, so perhaps that is true, Sifu. I think that it's important to note, especially for people who may not have been with us the first time. Some people may not distinguish joy from happiness, and that when I think about joy itself, I think that joy it's a thing, yes, but it's also almost a state of being that I'm choosing to continue to find the good in something, even if all heck is breaking loose around me. That it is that consistent perspective, not even really a feeling, but it's more of a perspective where I can choose to make the best of my day, of my time, of being of good to others, even if circumstances in life are not favorable. And I think that when we as leaders are intentional about that, then it has almost a trickle down effect on people who are watching us. Because especially in this age of social media, a lot of people watch us without commenting, without giving feedback, but they're watching us and they're trying to see, are we simply talking a talk or are we living out the walk that we say that we are doing? And when they see the consistency and the intentionality in what we do, then it can give them a means of following through with what they say that they're going to do or be in spite of their circumstances. I hope that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, it does. What I heard is that we can model that for people, not just by actually walking the talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got out of it. And just to speak to what you said, Alethea, for a couple of seconds, last time we were all here together that December, that was the morning after my grandmother passed away. Of course, I was not happy about that. I was very sad. But with the joy piece, I was able to find joy in that hour conversation that we had because it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so thankful to have the space and grace to be able to find that bit of joy in something that was very sad.
Mm-hmm.
So that for me, joy is deeper. And I feel that joy is something that you don't have to put on a happy face and be like, yeah, you could feel the joy inside. Almost like that parent that's sitting and watching their kid perform on the stage and they're just kind of quiet and nodding and just feeling that joy inside. I feel like it's just more quiet and not front and center.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important that you actually did show up because we talked about your grandma, right? We talked about the beauty that she brought to your life and her own life, and you talked about her so in such a loving way that it made us all think about the people in our lives that sometimes we even take for granted, right?
Yeah.
So I'm so happy you did show up that day.
Me too.
Because you could have easily have said, listen, my grandma just died. I can't do this, right? And we would have understood for sure. No problem.
Mm-hmm. Just like I shared offline with you all that I'm going through some very personal challenges right now, but I can still have joy. I won't identify the specific people, but I'll share the circumstances. Someone that's very close to me is going through stage 4 cancer right now, where the cancer went away, it's come back, it's metastasized, they have to start chemo treatments, and it's not contained on a specific organ per se now. And so, but what's beautiful about that person, they have joy in spite of what's happening. I'm not happy about it.
Of course.
They feel okay right now, but what makes me a bit sad is knowing all of the side effects of the chemo that the person will be on, not even meant to cure it, but to possibly slow the growth in spite of the prognosis. Then someone else that's very close to me, their father passed suddenly last week. I literally had spoken to that person's father the night before they became unresponsive, not knowing that would be the last time that I spoke to that person. So it goes back, Sifu, to what you said about not even knowing how much time we have with our loved ones, but being there for them, caring for them, showing up for them. Am I happy about these circumstances? No. But the peculiar thing for me, and maybe other people who are leaders, and I use that term broadly, whether you lead in your home, in your career, in your business, something, but maybe as leaders, when circumstances are not exactly in the way we would want them to be, perhaps it begs the question, does that spark even more fire under us to be more focused and more direct about what we do and how we serve, knowing that time is limited for all of us and valuing the moments that we have. And perhaps that in this mindset of having joy-driven leadership, is that maybe it also causes us to say, hey, joy is something that can be lifelong. Joy is something that we can continue to not only have for ourselves, but it's something that that we can hold on to when times get so rough that we don't know which way we're coming or going. We can hold on to have that. So maybe joy and hope go hand in hand. And maybe not even the hope of our circumstances changing, but the hope that we can and will navigate through them.
I love that. It made me think of a bunch of things when you're speaking. I'm going to pose a question. First, I'll make a couple of statements. I believe anger, I believe happiness, sadness, joy, fun are choices. Every one of them is a choice. I can be angry, and that's a choice I made. I could be mad at you. I can be disappointed. That's my choice. But joy is also a choice. We can choose joy, and we can choose anger. We can choose sadness. We can choose to celebrate or be miserable. Misery is a choice. I believe that every day we wake up with a choice about our day. Who chooses our emotions? I love when somebody says, man, he made me so mad. Did he? Or she made me so angry. Did she? Or is it because you don't control your own emotions that you allowed that to happen? So I think when we can look at life and what we can expect to get from it, we should make the choices how we use our emotions. So the question for you is, how do we choose joy over all these other things? Anybody? I think Nikki Nikki smiled on that one. She's ready for it. Go for it, Nikki.
I smiled on that one because I was looking at Leigh and I could see she wanted to say something. But I could quickly say, and I already lost the question. Oh, how do we choose joy? Yeah. For me, it's intentional. I think you have to make it your intention that despite circumstances like Alethea was talking about, we don't necessarily have to be happy about something. Happy is a state. The joy is always there, and the joy is inside, and we can access that at any time. And like I was saying earlier, I feel like this is not the best word, but it's the word that came to mind. Joy is more forgiving, in that I could be unhappy about X, Y, and Z in my life, but I can always feel that joy. And it's not about me showing it or displaying it for other people. I could quietly feel it inside. And I don't need to sometimes I just don't have the energy or bandwidth to show up and be like, hey, hi, like I was saying earlier. But that's okay. With joy, I could just sit back and I could feel it. And it's more private. It's just for me. And that's all that matters, is how I feel on the inside. So I could show up better for other people.
Nice.
I like that. It's private. I like that, Nikki. I never considered that.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. So glad it resonated.
And even though I like that you ended with that, other people can feel it. So even if it's private, like Alethea was saying, it is a state of being. And so I think that Sifu, you said, every day you get the chance to make a decision. You get to decide, are you going to live in joy? Are you going to live in anger? Are you going to live in... But I also want to just remind people that that decision can be made a million times during the day. And so I feel like 2025, we were all so excited to get into 2025 because 2024 was going to be in the rear view. And then a lot of stuff has come up. And it's interesting to me because a lot of people that I've been talking to, it's been personal things. Yes, there's a lot going on the outside world, but personally, there's been a lot that people have been talking or that have been going through and not talking about. I'm in a good situation, to me anyway, that people come to me with those kinds of things. And I like to be able to dig in and see what's going on and how we can shift that. But we get to, it's very easy to fall into anger. It's very easy to fall into victimhood, all of these things. And it doesn't mean that you're a victim. It doesn't mean that you're an angry person. It doesn't mean that you're handling it wrong. You're just handling it the best you know how at that moment. But the really cool thing is that if you feel that anger, my sister's been in the hospital for, it's actually, today is 11 weeks. And she's been sick. So we met, and like the next week she got extremely sick. And so it has been all of 2025. And there have been a lot of moments that I have gotten extremely angry. And I'm the happy coach. So that's still an emotion that is very natural. When you're seeing somebody that is 46 years old dying in front of you, it is extremely, you'll go through all the emotions. But Alethea, something that you said is, as a leader, you're able to better serve people if you're coming from a place of joy. And that's something that this whole experience has taught me, that I can be angry, but how am I going to lead this? How am I going to lead my sister? How am I going to lead my family? How am I going to lead me? How am I going to show up to the nurses, to the doctors, to the whole team? If I come with joy, with joy, I think it is peace. I think it's resilience. I think it's the bouncing back. I think it's all of those things in one. And I think then you're able to go at anything that's being thrown at you, and people want to help you. If you're angry, people are like, you know what? Screw you. You probably deserve this, which is awful to say, but that's how we feel, is like, you know what? You probably brought this upon yourself. If you come in it with joy and understanding and curiosity, then people want to help you. People want to like move in the direction that you want to move in. And I think that is like a superpower in leadership.
Wow. And Leanne, just for the fact that you reminded people that you're the happy coach, I know that for me, having a platform based on resiliency, overcoming adversity, and transformation, I find that those are the areas that I'm tested the most in.
Yeah.
And that then helps me to lead better too, because here I am, this resiliency person, and it goes beyond just bouncing back. But how do you bounce beyond
Yes.
and transform your entire life? Oh my goodness. I was telling my business coach recently, I told him, I said, Jose, I just should have gone back to my passion early on and have just been a YouTube cook instead of all this with everything happening in life. But I have to choose joy through everything. And Leigh Ann, thank you for sharing about your sister. And wow, my heart to you that even you still came today and just look flawless, and you exude joy in just all of your interactions, and that is honorable. So
Thank
wow,
you.
that is
Yeah.
encouraging. Yeah.
It's
That is powerful. Go ahead, Leanne.
I was just going to say, but it is a choice, and every day that passes, it's a harder choice to make. So it doesn't necessarily get easier. I've been likening it to like a muscle. So I really do think it's a muscle that you build. And I've been building that muscle for literally decades. And it's still, when you push harder, so you can be a weightlifter, you can be a bodybuilder, but once you start lifting harder, you still tear those muscles. And so you still have to have rest days. It doesn't matter. Arnold Schwarzenegger still, when he was at his prime, still needed rest days. Like he still well, maybe not days, but he still needed to rest. And he was at the top, and then that still happened. So I feel like, even though I'm a happiness coach and I've been training this muscle for decades, this now is coming at a heightened level that I've never seen it before. We're dealing with a lot of stuff on other family members. And so it's just kind of tearing down that muscle a little bit. So it makes it a little bit harder to show up. And so you get to say, you know what? No, that muscle is getting stronger, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. Then you make that decision again. I think that's what's really, really important, is that we know that it is going to fluctuate.
Mhm.
But looking at the end goal and how is this, and quite frankly, if I come in these things with anger, with frustration, with all of these things, not only does it not serve my sister, it doesn't serve me because I'm still spending the same 13 hours at the hospital with her. And when I leave, I'm either drained that I don't do anything. I go right to bed. If I've been in anger and frustration and scared and fear and all of these things. And if I go with hope that, okay, we're making progress, let's just one step in front of the other, then I feel a little bit more encouraged and it's easier to make that next decision. So it's been such a fascinating experience.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to share something with you guys.
Please.
Many, many years ago, my brother, 42, passed away. I feel very fortunate that 2 weeks before he passed, he was in the hospital and I was able to go and visit with him. And he knew he had a blood problem and he knew that he was going. And I only was able to spend maybe 10 minutes with him because he was so weak. And there were so many of us trying to visit with him. He didn't want to see more than one person at a time.
Right.
So my 10 minutes with him was my goodbye to him and his goodbye to me. And it was too short. It was way too short. 10 minutes was nothing when I needed to talk to him longer. And he told me he loved me. He told me not to worry about him. And he had joy. He found peace
Yes.
because he could have died in an instant and had no opportunity to say goodbye to everyone. He said goodbye to every one of us, my mother, my father, all my siblings. Remember, I'm number 10 of 12. So there were plenty of us, his wife, his daughter. And I remember those moments clearly still. His picture is right outside my bathroom. When I come out my bathroom, I see him every day. Every day I see him and I know he's looking down.
Wow.
And he's with me everywhere I go. But here's the thing. I'm not one that sheds tears for loss. I share joy in his life. I probably was one of the few that did not cry at the funeral. One of my sisters wanted to like climb into the coffin and pull him out. It was so dramatic. She was on top of it. Spanish people would get a little crazy, right? But it was so emotional. She was screaming. They had to pull her out. She did the same thing with my mom passed away. And she didn't want to let go. And one of the things that we have to do and understand is that we're here for a time. And we have to remember the beauty that that person brought or words that you share with someone. The words I'm sharing with you because I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow. So I hope that my words reflect and make you a better person. And this is why I'm enjoying this. There's some negativity, but there's some positivity in this conversation we're having because everybody's going through something. Everybody has gone through something. When we consider every aspect of our lives, it's a gift. Your sister has had a gift. The struggle she's going through, I'm not going to call it a gift, but it's something that she probably has to go through. And you're being there with her, Leanne, for 13 hours, and you're doing the right thing by being there for her without anger, without resentment, without all these other things, but just being present and letting her know how much she matters to you.
Hmm.
And so every moment that you spend with her, enjoy every second.
Yeah.
Because I was only allowed 10 minutes with my brother. And if I can go back, I would beg and plead for at least 12 minutes.
I'll tell you.
A little, I'm not greedy, but every second that we have to make it count. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing that with us and letting us know the impact that you're going through, the impact she's having on you. And I got to say that everybody who is going through anything in their life, just remember that life is beautiful no matter what is thrown your way.
That's right. Yes.
Can I share something?
Of course.
So she's been in here for, it's 11 weeks today. And she is, like I said, it's been really bad. She's had some good days. We're hoping we're maybe nearing the end. We're not sure. So she has seen a lot of nurses, a lot of porters going down for the tests, a lot of the people that come and say, what do you want to eat today? Like all of these types of support staff. And she even got down to, she's 5'7", she's gotten down to below 80 pounds.
Wow.
It has been, for me, even me with all of my training, with all of my stuff, there were moments that I don't know if I would have kept going. I don't know if I would have had the strength to keep going, let alone the way that she has. And she has touched so many people that she has porters that have just, all they do is they come and they put you in a stretcher and they take you down for the test and then they bring you back. That's it. That's all that they do. At Easter, 2 of them brought her gifts and said, Jennifer, you are just such a joy. The people that make her food, like just their cooks that make food for all the hundreds of people in the hospital, she gets little notes on her receipts that say, like, here's all the things that you're getting. Have a great day. Keep smiling. Love your smile. She's gotten gifts from them. She's gotten gifts from people that are in the room next to her that when they're walking by and like, so the patient is next to her. Obviously she doesn't see the patient very often. But the family members that walk in and out, she'll be like, good morning. Like, just so, I hope you have a nice night. Like, just so nice. They've given her gifts and just, you're such a joy. Like, it has been such a lesson in no matter what you're going through. In Sifu, it was the same thing with your brother. How beautiful for him to lead that way, to share that story, like his love with each one of you. He could have aired his grievances with every one of you and been like, Sifu, you know what? When we were growing up, I just want to get this off my chest. And he didn't. He had years and decades of experience with each one of you, and especially with his mom. Like, there's a lot of things I'm sure he would have been able to say about growing up with mom. But it was, I love you. And I think that we get to choose what's important right now. And if it's not going to be important in 5 years, it's not important right now. And when push comes to shove, love is the only thing that really matters. And it sounds so cheesy, but it's just so true, because at the end of the day, and we've now seen it, Sifu has explained it firsthand, and there are books and studies that show people in their last moments of life, none of them are saying, I wish I would have made more money. I wish I would have been more successful. It's, I wish I would have been able to tell my kids I love them. I wish I would have spent more time with my family. I wish I would have. It's always connection. It's always love.
Yeah.
Leigh Ann, I want to tell you also, you know, in the past, I had my share of days in the hospital, critical and everything else. When you were talking about Jennifer, the one thing I want you to be encouraged by is, it may not surprise you, but from my past experiences, nurses and doctors and orderlies and everybody would tell me, most of the patients are mean, nasty,
Mm.
and rude. Not kidding. Most of them are mean, nasty, and rude. Jennifer may not even realize what she's doing to give others hope and joy.
Yes.
She's just being her in spite of what's going on.
Yes.
And that right there is such a gift and such a blessing. And while we want her healed on earth and in good health and just going back to how it was, it's just so astonishing how her current assignment, despite her pain, is giving others life while it seems as if she's transitioning, she's pouring into others.
Yeah.
And that right there is absolutely incredible.
It is. I am also going to throw in, I don't think she's transitioning anymore. I think we're on the tail end. I think that
Good.
we're seeing an uphill, numbers are coming in. The
I'm
only
gonna
reason
keep
I
hoping
do
that.
believe
Yeah,
the
I'm
universe is
praying.
always listening. So
Yeah,
I want to make sure we don't end on that note. But
yeah.
I completely agree, Alethea.
Oh, good. Yeah, because earlier you
Yeah, she
had a
was.
comment that got okay, good. Thank
And
you
I
for
will
clarifying.
say another thing that came from that is radical acceptance of it. And Sifu, that's what your brother did. And Alethea, that's what your dad's doing right now. That radical acceptance of this is where I am right now. It allows so much peace around it that you're able to heal more in that. When we all made acceptance that even my sister, that this may be the beginning of the end, everything changed because she felt more at peace. And instead of, people are like, just keep fighting. I get where that comes from. And really comes from a place of fear. Don't die. That's what it comes from. Where when you have acceptance and you say, okay, heal, feel the peace and feel the joy and heal, there's a softer side of that. And it's actually stronger than the fight because the fight is so wrapped up in fear that it's really hard for your cells to actually heal. It's so fascinating.
Everything that we're talking about, one of the things that you both said is about leadership. And I just want to remind everybody here that when we're talking about leaders or leadership or anything of that nature, it's not necessarily somebody who owns a corporation or they're leading a team of 100 or 50 or 20 or whatever. And Alethea, you pointed it out. At home, you're a leader. Even if you live alone, you're a leader of your own destiny. You can lead joy in your life. You can lead with happiness. You can lead with cleanliness. Because when we fog up our mind, when we fog up our environment, we're not going to have joy. And we need to find joy in everything and everywhere in our space. And one of the greatest things that we have is our own space, and we should make that sacred so that we can have joy. Because when there's chaos, it's sometimes hard to find joy. So you need that place that you can say, even if it's that armchair that's like 400 years old, and you could sit back on it and go, I feel so good right now. And maybe close your eyes and meditate and feel the energy of your day and the power of the people who pour love into you. Forget the ones who are negative. Leave them out of it, right? Don't think about them. Don't give them the energy. If somebody curses you out, they're nasty to you, don't let it go. Let it go. So that's one of the ways that I find joy. People say to me, people who've known me for over 30 years, they're still baffled that they've never seen me angry. They're still baffled that I don't go off on somebody, even if that person was super nasty to me. And it's because the minute I use my energy to combat them, I gave away my power.
Mhm.
Nobody takes away my power. Nobody. And if you think you can, good luck. So many have tried. So many have tried. But here's the thing. I find beauty in every individual I ever come across, even the nasty ones.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me, Sifu, how do you even put up with that person? How do you deal with them?
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, I overlook their nastiness and I see the beauty in them.
Hmm.
How? How do you do it? What's wrong with you? They kind of say to me. I said, I've been given a gift, and my gift is to see the beauty in people.
Hmm.
And when we can do that, we can find joy. So you are a leader. It doesn't matter what position you have. You can be a janitor. You can be somebody that works in a fruit store, at the supermarket, at a shoe store. You can be selling shoes. You can be selling clothing. You can be sweeping. You ever heard anybody sweeping and whistling?
Yes.
That's a beautiful moment. Cherish that when you hear it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful, Sifu. And maybe we should have, you never know the way these conversations go, right? So we don't know the direction that any of this is going to go. But I would preface that this conversation is really important, even for the CEO, even for the top of your company. This conversation, I think, was a lot more important than just talking about the top 10 ways to find joy in the workplace and the top 10 ways to find. This is real life. This is where real leadership is shown, is when life is actually thrown at you and you don't have a rule book. You don't have. So if you can show up, and that's why it always comes back to, how do you want to show up? Not how do you want to be seen, but how do you want to show up? And that, the way, I can't remember if it was Les Brown or who said it, but the way you do one thing is the way you do all things. I am realizing that so much now, because the way that you show up in one area, that's the way you're showing up in other areas. So if you're not liking the way you're showing up at work or at home, look at that and fix that, because that's probably showing up, maybe not to the extent that it's showing up. Like maybe, at work, you really hate it and you're just in this really bad mindset. But I can almost guarantee you that if that's showing up at work, it's trickling over at home or vice versa. So we really need to, like you said, Sifu, clean up our areas and look at all of those different areas, no matter how many people we're leading.
Absolutely. Can I share something with you guys? Take a look. Take a look.
Absolutely.
You followed the rules, tried the restrictions, counted the carbs, the steps, and the failures. You're not lazy. You're exhausted from doing it all without real change. What if the problem isn't you, but the plan? Sifu's Mind-Body Method is a 90-day transformation built on 7 unshakable pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, hydration, fasting, journaling, and faith. This isn't another shortcut. It's your structure, your strength, your reset. You don't need harder. You need better. Ready to begin? Start today.
There you go.
And by the way, Nikki is our mindfulness coach in the program as well.
Only the best.
That is correct.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
I think we're going to have to do part 3, ladies. What do you think?
I'm in.
I love that. I'm definitely there.
Well,
It's amazing how fast that time goes.
Before we go, I just want to say that I'm definitely sending prayers in everybody's direction because I'm big on prayer. I pray in the morning. I pray in the middle of the day. I pray before I go to sleep. And I will add Jennifer's name to my prayers. And for you, Alethea, the people that are going through the challenges in your life. And Nikki, I love you. And, I'm going to send prayers your way anyway. But here's the thing. We have to do this again for sure. So what I'd love to do right now, because I got another show I got to boogie to, is give everybody a quick 45 seconds. Tell us what they can expect when they go to your website. Alethea, you're up.
Thank you, because I have to hop off soon to interview someone. So if you go to aletheafelton.com, you will learn a bit more about my story because I help leaders master resilience and transform setbacks into unstoppable breakthroughs. And you'll also get to see how I can help you, how I have that secret sauce that can really take you to the next level of your life in spite of the challenges that you go through. So you will see my offerings and you will also see how not only do I do one-on-one consulting, but I have a community called the Resilient Leaders Alliance, which is amazing. And I also offer digital products, and I am a professional paid speaker as well. So that's what you can expect from me.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. Leanne?
That is wonderful. So I will tell you, when you go to leannehello.com, it is just a link tree now. So I have taken everything offline in May because I just protected my peace. And I told everybody that was a paid client, I said, please don't pay for May because I'm going to take a month off and be with my sister and not have that extra because I knew I would not be able to. I would be able to serve. I wouldn't be able to serve the way that I like to serve. And so we'll be resuming everything in June. So I encourage you to go to leannehello.com in June. And then we are going to be kicking everything back off. We're going to have our 75 happy challenge. We're going to have all of the things to really show you that it really doesn't live out there. It lives in here. And sometimes all you need is some friends along the way. And then tonight, every Wednesday night, you can find The Friendly Show, Friend Leigh, Leigh. We do a podcast. I'd love for you guys to come on live. You become a part of the show. And that is about it. Sifu, Nikki, Alethea, this has been absolutely incredible. And I cannot wait for part 3.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I think you said 75 happy. I think it's 1,000 happy. Everybody, make sure you connect with these powerful, powerful women. And of course, I can't forget my beautiful co-host, who is such a powerhouse, Nikki.
Thank you, Sifu. I would love for you to connect with me. You can find me at nikkigangemi.com. I have free resources for you there, helping you to break free from the weight of the past and how to lead yourself in a joyful way. So please check that out and go on over to the About page. I've got a short video there where I get to share my story and what drives the why behind what I do today and helping others transform. Thank you.
And I'm Sifu Rafael. You saw my video. Are you ready to reset your life? I do so many different things, but this has been the core of my entire life. Sifu Mind's Body Method. And like I said, Nikki is one of the coaches on there. And believe it or not, my 24-year-old son is also one of the coaches. He is phenomenal. And all of us are bringing this incredible opportunity for everybody to learn how to reset their lives. And if you go to this website, it's pretty easy. sifurafael.com/SMBM. you're going to find a 7-day detox that you can use right away. So thank you, everybody, for being here with us. And make sure you let us know in the comments that you too want to hear part 3. And I know there's going to be a part 4, part 5. And I want to invite everybody to part 100 as well. So just make sure we go one at a time. Thank you, everybody. Do me a favor. This is a show that I believe so many people need to hear because everybody's going through something. So make sure you share this out. It's everywhere. So let's keep pushing it. Thank you.
Thank
God
you.
bless everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Love you.